Coach Garner here from hockeytraining.com, and in today's Hockey Science Unleashed video, I want to talk to you about creating an explosive strength session. Now, an explosive strength session is a part of the entire Fresh Factor system. So it's one component. I've been laying out each component week by week here on the Hockey Science Unleashed channel, and you're starting to see how everything fits together like a puzzle piece. And program design as a whole, it has to be that way. Hockey players being multidisciplinary athletes, meaning they need speed, agility, strength, conditioning, mobility, stability, balance, coordination, excellent technique. It goes on forever. So when you have an athlete that has this many requirements, it's important that you understand both the big picture and the little picture. The little picture of the puzzle pieces, you need them to go in the right place, but you also need to be able to take a step back and look at the big picture of how you periodize and schedule it throughout an entire end season. Both of those are critical programming thoughts to have at the forefront of your diagnostic process when assessing a hockey player's demands and creating the perfect program for them throughout the end season. And the Fresh Factor system is absolutely that. I checked every single box possible for the nervous system, for the muscle system, from the recovery perspective, from absolutely everything. And when it comes to the explosive strength, this is one that I would say, in respect to bang for the buck, this is at the top of the mountain. So if you could only perform one workout during a certain week of the in season, this is the one I would have you perform. Why? Because of something known as physical characteristic decay rates. Physical characteristic decay rates, it sounds very fancy, but I promise it's not. It's simply just a scientific understanding of how long you can hold on to a specific fitness quality without training it. So for example, if you train to become very strong, but then you stop training, how long is it going to take for you to actually get weaker? If you train to gain a very high level of hypertrophy, so therefore muscle mass, how long is it going to take for you to lose that muscle mass? Or if you train to gain a very high level of explosive power output, how long is it going to take you to lose that explosive power output? Thankfully, because of excellent research in sports science, we have got a very strong understanding on this stuff. And with respect to physical characteristic decay rates, you will begin to lose your muscle and strength within 30 days. So it seems to be at about the 1 month mark of detraining that muscle size and strength will go down from a physical perspective. I say physical because a lot of the hockey players think they get weaker like with 1 week of detraining. It's completely untrue. Usually actually they get a little bit stronger because they finally allowed their body to recover, but that's neither here nor there. So it takes about a month of detraining for you to actually get smaller and weaker from a hypertrophy and strength perspective. But from an explosive power perspective, it only takes 2 weeks of detraining for you to literally lose your explosiveness. That's very important to care about, because if you train explosively all off season and then you discontinue training in season, which is this mind-numbing fact, I don't know why so many hockey players do that, well then you're going to lose that explosiveness, or it will begin to decline in as little as 2 weeks. And a lot of hockey players, they say, oh man, I just feel the grind of the in season. What's funny to me is they think that everything in the in season is tiring them out and therefore reducing their performance. They don't understand that they're actually detrained, and that's what's reducing their performance. You don't need less training, you need more training. That's what's going to offset the decay rate so that you stay strong, so that you stay muscular, so that you stay explosive, because this is what's keeping you fresh. This is what's keeping the high performance machine going. But you need to program it in a way that you can still recover from, because that's the real magic of in-season program design, is keeping strength, muscle, and power as high as possible, but doing it in a way that allows you to still recover before games and practices. And explosive strength, the reason why I said that it is the top of the mountain in respect to bang for the buck is because it is going to hit all of the intensities required to offset every single physical characteristic decay rate I just said. So when you perform this workout properly, you will stay strong, not this month, all in season long. You will maintain your muscle, not just this month, but all in season long, and you will remain explosive all in season long, offsetting the decay rates number one most important thing because we want to maintain all those gains we made in the off season. A lot of people make gains in the off season. It's like taking one step upstairs, but then they don't train in the in season. They just took one step back down. But when you offset decay rates during the in season, you're taking one step up the stairs during the off season, and then you can even stay on that step all in season, and then next off season, you can take another step up the stairs and then another step. As the seasons go on, you become a way better hockey player. But what so many people do is one step forward, one step back, one step forward, one step back. And then they wonder why they don't make the team that year. They wonder why their performance isn't enhancing. They wonder why they think their potential is only this high when it's actually this high. And it's really just comes down to you're not training correctly during the in season. That's half of the year. You think you can train properly for 50% of the year and maximize your potential? It's never going to happen. You need off-season and in-season programming to become the best hockey player you can be. So when we structure our explosive strength session, what I like to do is create a tri-set of plyometric work. We're creating a tri-set of plyometric work to really accomplish a few things, actually. First and foremost, since it's plyometric work, we're training power. And since we're training power in the upper and lower body, we are offsetting any physical characteristic decay rate. So we are staying explosive all in season long. But the cool thing about this is because it's a tri-set, I'm training my athletes power and power endurance. So if you're not familiar, power isn't strength. A lot of people mix that up. Strength is simply your absolute force production, whereas power is the rate at which you can produce that force. So if you and I both have a maximum deadlift of 400 pounds, but you can deadlift it faster than me, you're more powerful. Our strength is the same. We have a 1 rep max of 400 pounds. Strength is the same. But since you can deadlift it faster than me, you are able to produce force at a faster rate, and therefore you are more powerful. Producing force at a faster rate is your ability to recruit more muscle fibers at once and fire them all at the same time. On the ice, that means we're recruiting all of our muscle fibers at once and firing them at the same time for maximum explosiveness. So if you want to be an explosive hockey player, you need to do power-based training, ideally in all of the power planes of motion: vertical, horizontal, and lateral. So you're not neglecting any power highway, so that you're not neglecting any area of maximal explosiveness out in the ice. And then we still want to be explosive in the upper body for things like shot power, for staying strong on the puck, for many other reasons, right? So we are training power and therefore explosiveness in the upper and lower body in all planes of motion. However, since I've designed it in a tri-set fashion, we're also training power endurance. So we're not just training maximal explosiveness, but we're training your ability to remain explosive all game long. That's a different energy system, okay? Energy system for power, and we'll get into this in another video, is alactic power. However, training alactic power means we are improving what's known as your alactic capacity. So we are getting two bang for the buck here: your ability to be explosive and your ability to remain explosive in the upper and lower body through all of the power highways, hitting this plyometrically, boom, done. All of the power-based fitness characteristic decay rates, done. You're explosive and fresh all in season long. So let's move on to offsetting the hypertrophy and strength components of offsetting the decay rates. So long as we introduce a load that is approximately 80% of our 1 rep max to a muscle group, you can maintain strength and hypertrophy indefinitely. So that's exactly what we're going to do. An 8 rep max. So just simply doing a set of 8. You don't have to do the intensities, the fancy stuff I talk about, 80% of 1 rep max. Understand that your 8 rep max is calculated to be 81% of your 1 rep max. So if you do a set of 8 on the squat, on a hinging pattern, on a pressing pattern, and on a pulling pattern, you have just exposed your body to a load of 80% of your 1 rep max, and therefore have offsetted the decay rate for both strength and hypertrophy for the entire end season, provided you perform this at least once per week. Same with this. Remember, this decay rate is going to kick in after 2 weeks. So I like hockey players doing this every single week. This decay rate is going to kick in a little bit later, but for optimal performance, we still want to perform this stuff every single week as well. this isn't just a basic example that I provided for you, right? Lower, lower, upper. So this could be vertical and lateral power output. So let's say box jumps and skater bounce. And then your upper could be a plyometric push-up. And then I would prefer you as a hockey player to perform an explosive strength session twice per week. So if this was vertical and lateral, well, then maybe my next workout would be horizontal and lateral, or horizontal and vertical. Whatever the athlete was in need of a little bit more could be ideal within that respect. And then your upper could be a power-based plyo push-up, or it could be power-based rebound for the shoulders. It could be a plyo-based row so that you're gaining power development in the back. It would just be different. We're performing it twice per week, and we do not want to perform the same workout twice per week because it's impossible to hit all of the power highways that way. So we are varying our stimuli for the power and power endurance work. And then here, we want to do a squat to hit a ton of muscles in the lower and upper body. A hinging pattern, which you can think of just as a hinge just means posterior chain, like a deadlift or something like that. You would be hitting that. And then through a pressing and pulling pattern, total body. Your total body just got exposed to 8RM, and therefore you're going to maintain that strength and hypertrophy all in season long. But I wanted you to do it twice per week, right? So what's an example? Well, maybe on day 1 you did squat, and then day 2 we did a unilateral movement. So it could have been barbell back squat and then split squat to vary up the stimuli. Hinge, this could have been a snatch grip deadlift, and then you could have done a staggered stance Romanian deadlift. So another bilateral to unilateral variation. Pressing and pulling is easy. Day 1, vertical press. Day 2, horizontal press. Day 1, vertical pull. Day 2, horizontal pull. You're getting the entire body each and every single week. So if you're performing this optimally, and this is a time I could talk about this workout. If you haven't noticed, I could talk about this workout for like an hour. There is a lot of science that goes behind what you're seeing here. But if you hit your vertical, horizontal, and your lateral power highways, as well as your pressing and pulling power highways, in combination with squat, unilateral squat, hinge, unilateral hinge, vertical press, vertical pull, horizontal pull, then you've absolutely created one of the best workouts you're ever going to do during the in-season. But you want to keep the volume pretty low, okay? Only 2 to 3 sets of this and only 2 to 3 sets of these. Why? Because we want to get that intensity in, but then get out before we create too much fatigue. You know, in the off season, we might be doing 4, 5, 6, 7 sets of this stuff because we don't have to worry about fatigue accumulation impacting our on-ice performance. But in the in-season, we want to hit these markers and then get out so that you stay strong, stay explosive, stay conditioned, but then you're still able to represent that out in the ice. You want to be fully recovered before game time. So explosive strength, explosive tricep, strength, total body functional resistance training for hockey players. That should all be performed twice per week. In an optimal world, if you can't do it twice per week, I have my athletes alternate. So I'll have explosive strength A and explosive strength B on the schedule. If they can't perform them both that week, no problem. We're still not worried about the decay rates because it's 2 weeks and 30 days, right? So I'll just have them perform explosive strength A week 1, explosive strength B week 2, explosive strength A week 3, explosive strength B week 4. And then what? It's on to the next phase where we're following the same principles, but the methods at which we accomplish these principles are different because we want to vary the exercise selection and we want to vary the overload stimulus that we utilize in each training phase. Overload representing how we are applying stress to the body to ensure it continues to adapt so that we continue to become better hockey players. So for example, phases 1 and 2, your overload stimulus could be intensity. Phases 3 and 4 of the in-season, your overload stimulus could be time under tension. And phases 5 and 6 of the in-season, your overload stimulus could be density. There. That is 3 blocks, 2 phases each, 6 phases long, 6 months, an entire in-season of hockey training program design that you can use to truly maximize your potential, train like an NHL player, and freaking crush it this season. All right? If you want to create The deadliest program in the hockey training world is the explosive strength session, plus the accelerate performance session, plus the bulletproof armor circuit, and then throw in active recovery work of hockey yoga and in-season specific skill training on top of that. You're going to be a completely different animal this year if you are a hockey player yourself, or if you're a coach coaching other hockey players to get this done, then they will be your clients will be lucky to have you, because you will allow them to reach their potential, reach their hockey dreams, and they're going to freaking crush it. All right? If you want to learn how to do more of this stuff, I want you to join me in the Certified Hockey Training Specialist course that I've created for coaches. You can join the wait list. It's an exclusive club I work with at hockeytraining.com/CHTS. That stands for Certified Hockey Training Specialist, which is what you will be once you complete the course. That's hockeytraining.com/CHTS. As always, thank you for watching this video. It means a lot to me if you could subscribe and give me a thumbs up if you found value, all right? Comment below on what video you want to see next. Let's go.